Paul Ryan, he's the House Budget Committee chairman. You remember he was Mitt Romney's vice presidential nominee. He might run for the Republican nomination in 2016. He was on Bill Bennett's conservative radio show the other morning talking about his plan to help end poverty in America. Now, Paul Ryan is a disciple of Jack Kemp. He's cared about this issue for a long time, but I always note if I ever wrote a book, I would say, why do smart people sometimes say stupid things? Listen to this.
We have got this tailspin of culture in our inner cities in particular, of men not working, and just generations of men not even thinking about working.
Now, he went on, Ron and Nia, to make the point. He quoted Charles Murray, who is an academic, a social scientist, who says that if you look, that people below the poverty line are genetically inferior. Why would Paul Ryan quote him? And I'm going to say this as someone who spent much of my childhood at or below the poverty line. Family was on food stamps. I don't think, Dr. Murray, that I'm wired inferiorly. Why? Paul Ryan cares about this issue. He's passionate about this issue. You can agree or disagree with his policy prescriptions. Why venture here and not be more careful?
It's inexcusable. The only reason I can think of it is he's preaching to the choir. He was speaking to a conservative radio host. If he was in an urban audience, which to his credit, Paul Ryan has, I think it would have been more careful. When you compare what he said to what President Obama has said, like around the Brothers Keepers, it's interesting because they're both basically making the same point, but President Obama will talk about the odds are stacked against these young men, and we have to help lift them up. Paul Ryan was talking about the culture of not working, which kind of puts the onus not on the institutions, but on the people, and that's a much different way to frame it.
Yeah, and I think it is important to talk about culture, but not necessarily inner city culture or black culture, but American culture, right? And these historical and structural forces that are affecting some of these folks in the inner cities. And also, I think we do ourselves just a disservice, and public figures do the discourse a disservice by not talking about poverty in a broader way. If I was a poor white person living in Mississippi, I might feel left out from these conversations.
You should never ever quote somebody who says African Americans are less intelligent than whites if you're a leader in this country. That is inexcusable.
Yeah, if you want to engage a community in a conversation and maybe ask that community to look inward and think hard about some things that are tough, it's hard to say, I want you to think about this, but first let me let you know I think that you are genetically inferior.
Right. And you might want to go on the Tom Joyner Maureen show, and that's a show that a lot of African Americans listen to.
There's a phrase in politics called dog whistling, and that's what this is about. Whether he meant to do it or not, he's sending a subtle signal to white Americans who feel like they're being climbed over on the ladder to success, that, hey, I'm with you. I know that we have to help protect you against the other guy.
I do know he's cared about these issues for a long time, so let's see if he tries to fix this, if you will, try to explain himself and give it to your guess is a yes.